If you are looking to advance your career, be it in accounts payable, accounting, or finance, there are certain essential skills that you will need. These skills are essential if you wish to advance. That is, if you wish to get promoted or get a new job in another related department. Make sure you stick around until the end when we discuss one that I believe is not only essential, but you won't succeed without it. Hey guys, I'm Mary Schaefer, founder of AP Now, the place where you go for all the latest business intelligence if you work in, manage, or have responsibility for the accounts payable and or payment function. Now, before we get started, a big thanks to Jim Borland for asking this question and inspiring this talk. All righty, so to the essential skills. The accounts payable skills needed to succeed may not be what you think they are. As time goes on, the ability to enter data as quickly as possible will be less in demand than some of these other skills that we're going to discuss, and they'll be more important. So let's take a look at what these other skills are. Attention to detail. Now, this has always been important. Accounts payable has to be accurate when they're processing both invoices and when they're making payments. This requires a high level of attention to detail. And too often, you look away, you lose your focus for 1 minute, and wow, before you know it, you've made a duplicate payment. You've let an invoice go through that has a price that's on it that's not correct, or something of that. So very detailed oriented, attention to detail. The next skill that's pretty important is time management. There's a large volume of invoices that have to be processed, payment requests that have to be made, vendor inquiries that have to be responded to, etc. So if you're not able to manage your time well, then before you know it, you're not going to be able to get all the work done in a specific day that you have to. So you have to know yourself, you have to plan your day, and then take it from there. Adaptability, okay? This is becoming extremely important as we move from going to a more manual process to a more automated process that is going to require additional skills, new skills as we learn new technology. There's more analytical requirements made of us, etc. And there's also all sorts of new things that we have to learn to do that we never did before. So you need to be adaptable so that as one part of your job goes away, you can take on some of these other new required functions. Next skill, communication. Strong communication skills are important everywhere in the business world, but in the accounts payable function where, it's not an island, you're dealing with a lot of other people, you're dealing with suppliers, you're dealing with other employees, you're dealing with management sometimes. The ability to be able to communicate and interact with other stakeholders on a very regular basis is important because this is becoming a larger part of our job. The next one, and this is important, is having good problem solving skills. Now, it's really easy to identify a problem. And in fact, in accounts payable, you have to troubleshoot problems all the time and resolve these issues. And ideally, you do this before the payment is due. But when you identify a problem, the best practice management recommendation, not only for accounts payable, but for accounting, for finance, basically for everybody, is that when you find a problem and you go to management with it, you need to also go with a recommended solution. Now, they may not take that solution, but at least by finding and making a recommendation, you show that you are thinking about it. And by the way, if they don't take your solution and they go with something else, you might want to just go back and analyze why they took that. Is that a better solution? Should you have thought about it? Sometimes it won't be. It's, whatever. They go their own way. But anyway, it's a way to enhance your problem solving skills, if you will. The next one, it pains me to say this, but you're going to know I'm right. And that is the ability to recognize and protect against new frauds, okay? This means staying up to date on the latest scams and then being able to recognize not only those newest scams when they present themselves, but to look at your own activity and recognize that when something seems a little suspicious, when it seems too good to be true, when it's out of the ordinary, being able to identify that particular issue, pull it out, and not fall for the scam. This sometimes means, by the way, being skeptical and questioning things. But what you don't want to do is fall for whatever the scam is or whatever particular pressure tactics or scare tactics that some of these fraudsters are trying to use. Keep in mind that knowledge is power. So staying on top of this stuff is critical when it comes to defending against these frauds and these scams. Also, and if you've heard me talk before, you've probably heard me say this, education is the silver bullet. So not only getting all the latest information for yourself, but making sure that your staff has all this latest information so that you can all protect against the fraud together. So as soon as you learn of a new fraud, make sure you share it. Even if you don't know how to protect against it, just share the information with your team, with your staff, with management. Sometimes just knowing that the fraud is going on is enough to protect the organization. My best example of this is some of these gift card frauds that are going on. Just knowing that crooks are playing games with gift cards puts you in a better position to recognize that fraud when that phony email comes into your inbox. Okay, next issue, and this again requires constant updating. Familiarity with all relevant laws and regulations. Regulatory compliance is a huge part of the accounts payable function, even though we don't think about it. We've got the 1099s, we've got to do sales and use tax correctly. We've got to do our unclaimed property reporting. We have to know about whether somebody's an independent contractor or an employee. We have to know how to differentiate that. If you're doing business internationally, you have to know all about your 1042s. You have to know how to use tin matching. You have to know, getting W-9s. There is a ton of stuff that you need to know. So staying familiar with relevant laws and regulations, another part of your job if you want to succeed. Now, before we get to the last episode, if you like this episode, please give us a thumbs up. And if you loved it, please subscribe. We produce new content for the channel 3 times a week. Payment and accounts payable issues such as these are discussed on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we have fun with Wordle on Saturdays. Okay, moving right along. We're getting there. You need technological proficiency. You must be comfortable using financial software and technology that your company is using to manage and analyze financial data. This means, keeping up to date with Excel at a minimum. If you go to work in an accounts payable function or anywhere in accounting, the assumption is you know how to use Excel. And and there's a lot that you can do with it. So anytime there's something new that comes out, and there will be, make sure you be on the leading edge. You learn how to use it. A lot of this new technology, by the way, as it comes out, is more user friendly. It's easier to learn, but still, the first time, it's always a little rough. Okay, next issue, and that is teamwork. Uh, Accounts payable you've never been an island. Maybe way back 30 years ago, if you were processing invoices and you didn't have to answer vendor inquiries or deal with people asking about, when their payment was due, you could get away with that. But even then, probably not. But accounts payable today, you're part of a team. You've got a seat at the table. You have to collaborate efficiently and effectively with a lot of people, with others in other departments, within your own team, with outsiders, be they service providers, be they banks, be your suppliers who you owe money to. So we're all in this together, so to speak. So teamwork is probably right up there on the list. And even if you're sitting there saying, but I'm not a people person, you have to learn to work with a team and be a team player. I know you don't like to hear that, but it is what it is. And now, the one that I think is the most important, and I'd like to know in the comments below if you agree. The willingness and ability to continually learn is probably one of the most essential skills you can have. Never, ever has this been more important than today. And if you're not willing to do this today, you're almost dooming yourself. So I like to say, if you want to continue to earn, then you need to continue to learn. And as I think I mentioned already, we have 300 over 300 videos on this channel. Most of them are pretty short. So, just look at 1 or 2 a day, maybe while you're having lunch or having coffee in the afternoon or with your bagel for breakfast, and you'll continue to learn. So continue to learn if you want to continue to earn. That being said, there are more issues than you might imagine that you need to be knowledgeable about if you wish to succeed in accounts payable. We recently did a video on that, which you can watch right now with the link that will appear momentarily on the screen if you're watching this on YouTube. Otherwise, it's in the show notes below. It's on the show notes below also for YouTube. We like to take this opportunity to tell you we appreciate you watching, and your thumbs up, your subscribes, your shares, and your comments. Good luck with your